Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you guys know everything about me already. I can sit down now. Prez said everything, so I think we're good. Huh? Yeah. I played in a lot of stadiums. I played in front of 100,000 fans, and I played a lot of big-time games in this stadium. And I'll be honest, this is the most nervous I've ever been in Sanford Stadium. First, I would like to thank President Moorhead, Provost Ayers, and the university and distinguished faculty and staff. Today is an opportunity I do not take lightly. And I'm truly thankful and blessed to stand in front of you this evening as your 2026 commencement speaker. Let me congratulate you on what is a tremendous achievement and one that does not come without tons of hard work, dedication, and real discipline. My journey to this point, standing in front of you today, includes many twists and turns, plenty of joys, but also many failures. What I'm most thankful for are the obstacles that were in my path that laid the groundwork for the man I would turn into. My faith has played a huge role in my life, and without my faith, there's no way I stand in front of you today. Similar to a lot of you in here today, your parents, your family members are a huge reason why you're sitting in these chairs. And I'd like to say something about mine. My beautiful mom is here, my two younger brothers, Xavier and Nicholas, my sister, Nicole, who's also a graduate of University of Georgia. My beautiful wife is here, Portia, who's been through it all with me, from things when weren't going well to when things were going well, and I thank her for everything she's done. I got two young kids. I got a son, Makai, who's 14, and he's playing every sport under the sun. I have a daughter who's 16, and she's an outstanding athlete and student as well. And one day she hopes to be a Bulldog like you guys. Now, I do have a question. Prez, my kids would love to come to the University of Georgia. I don't know if you know anybody that could help them get in. We'll talk about it? Okay. I'll let my kids know. Yeah. We got a chance. I would like to thank my parents for instilling me the mindset of always striving for greatness. At an early age, my parents were adamant about goals for myself. So much so in high school, my dad said, I don't want you to be the best quarterback in the county. I don't even want you to be the best quarterback in the state. He said, I want you to be the best quarterback in the country. And at the time, I thought it was insane. But at the time, he was teaching me how to set high goals for myself. And nonetheless, leaving high school, I was ranked as the number 2 rated quarterback in the country. And when it came out, I thought it was insane, but I had the opportunity to play at any college in the country. But there was one place that stood out, right here at the University of Georgia for the Dogs. Similar to everybody here, having the chance to be a Bulldog was a huge honor, and one I did not take lightly. Remember me being the 2nd rated quarterback in the country, right? Well, that wasn't for me to brag about it. It was a prelude to part of my story, which ultimately is, this is a story about not where you start, but where you finish. So I came to Georgia thinking I would play right away. But that was only the beginning of how this great university turned me from a boy to a man. A special shout out to Kevin Hines, who was our team chaplain during my years. He helped me grow spiritually and helped me through plenty of tough times. And Thomas Settles as well, who holds the position right now and pours into all our student athletes here. I know everybody sitting here tonight has had their moments during their time here at UGA when you were beaten down, when you were tired, or even wondered how would you make it to the chair you're sitting in now. 2 words I believe bode well for you going forward in your future endeavors, and they are patience and perseverance. We all want things to happen for us right away and on our time. But I've learned through my struggles and obstacles in sports and in life, with a little patience, it gets you to the place you're supposed to be, and it's right on time. I'm a prime example of this. Being the number 2 quarterback in the country, I fully expected to come to Georgia and start and play, but that did not happen. I had to overcome injuries, lack of playing time, even wondering, did I have what it takes to cut it here? I also had a really good player in front of me, a good friend of mine, and David Green. But long story short, my opportunity to start did not come until my senior year. Now, there was a time I thought about leaving UGA, but there were 3 things that kept me from leaving. One was a guy by the name of Mark Richt. Mark Richt is a guy who I owe a lot of who I am and how he carried himself. Another guy who I hold in high regard, he was my quarterback's coach, and Mike Bobo. He pushed me to a point. Coach Bobo pushed me to a point at a time I did not understand. I later realized that he was pushing me to a place that he knew was inside of me at the time that I didn't even see. There was a point where I thought he didn't like me, and I was like, this guy is crazy. But I quickly realized nobody puts that much time into you and invests in you if they didn't see anything in you. As I contemplated leaving, I had a meeting with Coach Richt, and he told me 3 simple things that have always stuck with me. The first thing he said was, I love you. And that meant a lot to me. The second thing he told me was, you will leave UGA with a smile on your face. And the third thing he says, you will never regret staying here because you will get a degree from the University of Georgia. Prez mentioned it. My senior year, we went on to win the SEC championship. I was named the MVP. And a couple days before our graduation, Coach Richt gives me a framed picture. And in this framed picture, it's a picture of me and him smiling, showing all 32 of our teeth, because we're super excited about we're just winning. And the caption said, I told you you would leave here with a smile on your face. Also, my teammates, Dog Nation, who I wanted to show I could do it here, along with being a guy that was also a man of his word. My parents have always taught me that if you start something, you finish it, regardless of circumstances you're in. Another lesson from my parents I cherish to this day. Last, I knew having a degree from the University of Georgia would do so much for my future. And I've seen it come to fruition since I left this place over 20 years ago. And having that degree, it raises eyebrows, trust me. As you enter the world, who you are means so much more than you think. There's a great Maya Angelou quote I live by, and it says, people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. That first impression you can never get back. So make sure whatever environment you step into, whatever job, anybody you come across, make sure you're showing the people the true essence of who you are, because that will be how people will remember you. When I played for the Falcons, I learned one other important lesson, which was the importance of relationships. I had a chance to play with a guy by the name of Michael Vick, one of the most electrifying players in the National Football League. And I watched how people treated him, and it taught me a lot. Going into my second year in the National Football League, I was having one of the best preseasons ever. And going into that season, there was a lot of conversation about me starting as a 7th-round guy. And we're playing in Buffalo. And shout out to my man Cookie, James Cook's in the house, having a great year, having a great season with Buffalo Bills. But Cookie, Buffalo was not good to me this day. So imagine I'm having a really good ball game. I drop back in the pocket. I look to my left, I don't see anything. I look to the right, don't really see anything ever. I look in the middle, and just imagine the Red Sea just parting. I take off, and we're about the 10-yard line. I take off, and it's me and this other guy on about the 3-yard line. I go to cut left, my knee goes right. I'm on the ground, I feel it. I know this is my ACL, and that's what it is. That year, the Falcons played 3 or 4 quarterbacks, so I knew an opportunity was lost for me. But once again, another obstacle to overcome. I rehabbed myself back, and in my 3rd year, the Falcons drafted Matt Ryan, and they gave him $70 million, so I said, well, I know I'm not gonna start now. But I had a decision to make. Do I sulk or make the most of the chance? And that's what I did. I made the team for the next couple of years, but I never played a snap. But what did come from this were the relationships I made during my time there and how I interacted and treated people. Because of those relationships, when I was done playing, those same people offered me a job in their organization because they saw the kind of person I was and the moments and the tough times that I went through during I was there. My point is, you never know what situation you're in, good or bad, that could lead to an opportunity later in life. And here I am, 20 years removed from my time with the Falcons, and I still have a job with them. Every stop in your life has a benefit or a lesson that you can learn from. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but I am not a big fan of 8 a.m. classes. Some of you, y'all may be morning. Y'all, I hear you, some of you guys morning people, good for you. That is awesome. But it tested me, I'm not gonna lie. Just seeing the east-west or north-south bus that early in the morning put me in the mood. I wanna give big props to my academic counselor, Rhonda Kilpatrick, who was a mentor, friend, and safe haven for me on my academic journey and pushed me when I needed to take those 8 a.m. courses to get ahead or extra summer classes when I wanted to just hang out. She knew then how to push me beyond my limits, and I thank you, Ms. Rhonda, for all you did and still to today. Also, I want to thank Mr. Robert Miles, who knew what it was like to be a student athlete at the University of Georgia and poured into me knowing the road that was ahead. Mr. Miles, I appreciate you and all you did for every student athlete. As a student athlete, I wanted my peers to know I was here for my education and how important it was to me. I remember coming out of one of my communication classes, shout out to Franklin College. Franklin College, y'all in here? There we go. I remember walking out of a communication class one day, and a young lady says to me, wow, you really do your work. And in that moment, my actions spoke louder than anything I could say, and the respect I wanted as more than an athlete was felt and was real. I told you during my athletic career, there were many obstacles I had to overcome, like injuries, self-doubt, questioning, was I good enough? And I know everybody leading up to this point has had those thoughts, but one thing I learned throughout those moments that have guided me on and off the field is I turned my L's into lessons and my flaws into weapons. Nobody is perfect, but if you can learn from the mistakes, learn from the tough times when things don't go your way, those flaws you may have can be weapons when you get into the next situation that you will thrive in because of it. I've had the opportunity to know our athletic director for a while now, in Josh Brooks. And one thing he said to me always stuck with me, and it was, you don't come to Georgia to be mediocre or average. You come to be great. I mean, take one of our most famous chants. It's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. I said it's great to be a Georgia. All right, y'all chill out. They might kick me out. Calm down, all right. Growth happens when we are uncomfortable. Embrace the change ahead. This was true for me when I took on my new role 5 years ago at Fox 5, stepping into a position that was unlike what I knew. When I was offered the position at the time, I questioned again, was I worthy? It was an uncomfortable feeling, but I stepped out on faith because of what I had already been through and said I had to embrace the change and opportunity. 5 years later, I am so thankful I chose to step out of my usual comfort zone and into this role. Thankful for my Fox 5 family who have embraced me who absolutely put up with all my jokes and shenanigans, but I'm humbled to be the sports director at such a great place with so many great people at Fox 5. You will get an opportunity to do great things, but the best thing you can do is respect the opportunity, but second, find a way to be independent of that opportunity somebody gave you. What I mean by that is, you must do something with that opportunity to set yourself apart to help yourself. The first job you may not land, but you will learn from it. The first internship may not be what you expected, but use that as an opportunity to grow from it. As you embark on your next journey, be proud of the name you created and are building. What else do we have in this world besides our word and our name? Make sure those are always protected. I've had the unique pleasure to know the Dogs head man and Coach Kirby Smart for over 20 years. The one thing I respect so much about him is his attention to detail and the way he interacts with people he encounters. In a world that can be tough to navigate in college football, I've seen Coach Smart empower, encourage, and more than anything, provide his players with the knowledge to be men that can thrive outside of sports. If there's something you can take away from the top coach in college football, it's to always pay attention to the details, because it's the details where you win. I'm a big fan of golf, and this is one sport that continues to teach me life lessons. The plan today, like I'm sure like a lot of you, is to play Augusta National. I'm looking forward to that. That would be cool. But if one thing golf has taught me is the power of the next shot. You tee off good or bad, okay, cool. But you're only as good as your next shot. Never let the first determine your demeanor, approach, or attitude, because the next opportunity you'll swing could be the best one, and that sets you up for par, birdie, or for me, I'm happy to have bogey. But my point is, regardless of that first, second, or third swing, keep your head down and keep working, because you never know which swing will be the one that gets you to where you want to be. If you don't remember anything else that I said tonight, take this one piece of advice with you as you leave tonight. And this is something my wife continually tries to ingrain in me, and sometimes I fall short of. But thank God I have a wife that continues to remind me of this. I question why President Moorhead chose me. And here's a quick story of how this opportunity came about. I get the unique opportunity to interview President Moorhead during the Georgia-Florida weekend every year. And it always ends pretty good for us Dogs, right? We always end up with a nice W over those Gators, yeah. But during that time, I get a chance to interview President Moorhead. And before he goes, hey, Shock, at the end of the interview, I have an announcement I want to give, I want to say. I was like, okay, cool. I never thought anything about it. Thought he had an initiative he wanted to get out. Cool. So I interview him. I go through 2 or 3 questions. Then I say, all right, Prez, what you got for the people? Tell them what you want. And he says, well, the committee and I, we voted, and we want you to be our commencement speaker for our 2026 graduating class. I was floored. I almost dropped the microphone. And part of me says I thought he did it live, so I couldn't say no. Is that right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you see the big smile tells you that, yeah. But it was an honor that he saw me in that light. Then I thought, how was I worthy of such an honor? President Moorhead, I am truly thankful that you see me in the light to be able to speak to this wonderful class and have an opportunity to tell my story, but also give them something with them. So I thank you for the opportunity to even think of me in that light. I said this to my wife. I thought about how was I able to have this opportunity? And I said this to my wife, and this is the advice I want you to leave with. She said, babe, always know your value. She looked at me and said, why not you? And quickly I realized she was right. I needed to remember my value. As you leave Sanford Stadium tonight and walk into those interview rooms or new jobs or opportunities, always know your value. And you wouldn't be there if you didn't deserve to be there. Know your value no matter the room. You have a degree from the University of Georgia. You have a degree from the University of Georgia that you spent countless hours working your tail off, and here you are. Be proud, be patient, and that perseverance will be right around the corner. Class of 2026, you will always be dogs. And dogs are stars. Stars don't need permission to shine. So don't let anybody ever dim your light. Shine bright, fam. It's been the ultimate honor and privilege to stand before you, to send you off to be great and represent the dogs all over the world. There's one last thing I would love to do, and it might be the last time you guys get to do this for a while. Entire class, I want you to stand up, stand up. On the count of three, we're gonna say it loud, we're gonna say it proud, we're gonna get a go dogs on three. 1, 2, 3, go. Many blessings on your journey. Congrats again on accomplishing something so special from a special university. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Go Dogs.